Well, Nigel Owens, thanks very much for joining me.
Before you start, don't be long because it's cold.
Yeah, we'll do our best. As broad as it gets to start off with, why refereeing?
Because I was pretty poor at playing, to be honest. No, just by chance. 20 years ago now was because I enjoyed rugby and I wasn't very good at playing and I wasn't going to get any far by playing, and I just started refereeing by helping out refereeing school games in school. So I started by chance, like most people did back then, and refereeing, I think, different to anything else, is something you've got to enjoy to do it. And if you go in for it for the wrong reasons, you're going to fall short.
What is there to enjoy about refereeing?
Being part of some of the great occasions in sport, I think. And people ask me, somebody's asking me last week, right, what is your best game you've refereed? What is your favourite game you refereed? And I said, well, I was refereeing Leicester-Ulster on a Saturday night up in Welford Road in the Heineken Cup, which was a pool decider and a great game of rugby as well, and a great occasion, you know, when it's packed house in Welford Road on a Friday night. And then on the Sunday morning, I travelled back on the Saturday night. On the Sunday morning, I was refereeing an under-12s game in Pencoed under-12s against Cwmbran under-12s. And if somebody asked me, right, what's your favourite game, I would say that game, Pencoed under-12s, Cwmbran under-12s, because the players, the young kids, they just awful conditions. The pitch was heavy. It was about 5 weeks ago, and they just went out and played, and they enjoyed it. It was physical for that age group. It was good tries, and a good crowd had turned up because it was a game celebrating 125 years of Pencoed. So there you go. My favourite game to date is Pencoed under-12s.
What about a particular part of who you are that some people might use to fire abuse in your direction? Do you get much grief for being Welsh?
That's a good one. You had me there. No, I don't. No, I don't really. To be fair and to be honest, those negative tweets or negative comments are very few and far between, to be honest. And you know, you've got to look at it from a bigger picture, really, and realise that these are some people who are hiding behind a keyboard and saying things, you know, and you've got to take those things with a pinch of salt, even though they're not nice. So no, you deal with it, you know, and. Some of them are quite funny. Some of them come out with some comments, you know, and I think that's a good one, you know, and you laugh about it. And I think, you know, that's only right, because I think sometimes in life we do take life too seriously sometimes. And but, you know, obviously some of the comments sometimes are unacceptable. And as long as those are dealt with in the proper way, then we can all move on.
So in your growth as a referee, from the first match you took charge of, your first international match in 2005, through until now, who've been the key members of your rugby family, whether it's parents or fellow referees or even coaches?
Well, obviously my parents, first of all, probably. You know, that when I started refereeing at 16 years of age, where I couldn't drive, so my dad or my mum and my uncle, probably more than anybody, used to take me to some of the games. I couldn't drive at the time, so they would take me to games. And then, yes, you know, fellow referees and, you know, people within refereeing and people within rugby, really. You know, I owe a lot to a lot of people for who I am today and for being the referee I am. And, you know, I could sit here for the next 10 minutes and probably try and name them all, but there's so many that I owe so much to over the years. Some of them right at the beginning of a career in just doing those little things in helping you. Others as you're climbing the ranks, and then others still now when you're at the top of your game. So no, I owe a lot to people, and I always tell this to a lot of people when I go to do some talks and stuff in schools or colleges. I always say, you know, no matter who you are or where you will land up in this world or who you become, you know, you never ever forget where you've come from, and never ever forget the people who've helped you to become the referee I am, and probably more importantly, the people who've helped me to become the person I am.
Excellent. Well, finally, referee is always well turned out, pretty meticulous, almost regimented, always in charge, certainly. So away from refereeing, where you look good and perhaps are in control, what are you not good at?
Timekeeping, I'm terrible at. I am awful at that timekeeping, and I don't know why. I think, you know, I sit at home sometimes and think, right, I need to be there now. I need to move, and then I finish my cup of tea and then don't rush, and then I'll end up rushing then in getting there and always a bit late. So. Yeah, timekeeping, and thank God that you know, the floor managers get you out in time to start the game, or you know, kick off would be late when you're refereeing. That's for sure.